Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a world where the most powerful pain relief doesn't automatically come with that shadow of addiction. For years, it's felt like a distant dream, almost, well, utopian, right? But what if we're actually on the cusp of making that a reality? Today, we're taking a deep dive into what could be a truly significant breakthrough in pain management. Our mission, for you listening, is to explore this brand new non-opioid drug. It's tentatively named ADRIANA. We'll look at how it actually works, trace its journey through these really promising early clinical trials, and importantly, consider its potential to fundamentally reshape how we treat severe pain, not just here, but, globally. Our source for this is an article from SciTech Daily, published August 28, 2025. The title is pretty bold. The End of Opioids. New drug could change the way we treat severe pain. And it details this groundbreaking research coming out of Kyoto University. It offers, well, a really fascinating glimpse into the future. But before we jump into ADRIANA itself, let's just set the stage a little. We all know the current challenge, right?
Opioids like morphine, they are incredibly effective for severe pain relief. There's just no denying their power. However, and it's a big however, they come with these significant, very well-known risks. You've got respiratory depression, which can be fatal, and maybe even more prominent in the public mind now is drug dependence, addiction. It really is a double-edged sword. Profound relief, yes, but also profound danger. And the global contrast in how this whole dilemma has played out is, well, it's stark. You look at Japan, for instance. They've historically had these very strict rules for opioid prescriptions, a really cautious approach. But then you contrast that with the United States, where the widespread prescribing of drugs like OxyContin, well, it unfortunately fueled this massive rise in misuse, especially of synthetic opioids like fentanyl. And this just spiraled into a public health emergency, what we now call the opioid crisis. The human cost is just, it's heartbreaking. By 2023, deaths from opioid overdoses in the U.S. had sadly topped 80,000. And these aren't just numbers, They represent families torn apart, whole communities devastated, a system really struggling to cope.
Yeah, and what's truly critical here, I think, is understanding the urgency this crisis has created. It's not just about finding any pain relief. It's about finding safer pain relief. This isn't just a clinical problem to solve with a new molecule. It's a profound societal challenge. We're talking about alleviating just widespread suffering without accidentally creating, another epidemic in its place. So the search for effective, non-addictive pain management, it's not just a scientific quest. It feels more like a global humanitarian imperative. It could reshape millions of lives.
Exactly. And that's precisely why this next development, this ADRIANA, is so compelling. Researchers at Kyoto University have identified this new analgesic, and it offers a fundamentally different approach. The most crucial part, it's a non-opioid. It provides pain relief through what they call a completely different biological pathway, which, in layman's terms, is like finding a whole new, maybe safer key to unlock that door to relief.
Right.
And the core promise, this comes from the corresponding author, Masatoshi Hagiwara, immense.
Yeah.
He basically says, if successfully commercialized, ADRIANA would offer a new pain management option, one that doesn't rely on opioids, and that could significantly contribute to reducing opioid use in clinics. That's a huge goal.
Absolutely monumental.
Yeah, with really far-reaching implications. And this isn't just theory, right? The drug is already moving through clinical development as part of an international research collaboration, which signals, a serious commitment to actually getting this to patients. So let's get into the science a bit, because this is where the real aha moment is, I think. It's remarkably clever. The inspiration actually came from observing compounds that imitate noradrenaline.
Right, noradrenaline. That's a natural chemical our bodies release, particularly in stressful, life-threatening situations. And it helps reduce pain by activating a specific receptor. Let's call it the pain-off switch for simplicity, the A2A adrenoceptor.
Okay, so the basic idea was there. Use this natural pathway.
Exactly. But there was a critical problem. Directly boosting noradrenaline or using chemicals that mimic it carried a really high risk of, messing with cardiovascular function, destabilizing it.
So you might get pain relief, but potentially at a dangerous cost to your heart. Not a good trade-off.
Not at all.
So ADRIANA's approach, it pivots completely. It's quite different. Instead of directly imitating noradrenaline and, risking those heart issues, the researchers proposed something really ingenious. What if you could selectively block a different receptor? This one called the O2B adrenoceptor.
A different switch altogether.
Right. And their hypothesis was that by blocking this specific receptor, which you described almost like a dimmer switch for your natural pain relief system, you could actually increase the natural noradrenaline activity already present in your body.
That's the key, using what's already there.
Exactly. And this increased natural activity would then stimulate those beneficial A2A adrenoceptors, the pain-off switch giving you the relief you need. But crucially, without triggering that dangerous cardiovascular instability.
Yeah, the elegance is that it works with your body's own systems.
Yeah.
It doesn't try to overpower them like, say, opioids do by hitting the opioid receptors so hard. It's not like flooding the system with a powerful new chemical current. It's more like subtly adjusting the existing pathways, maybe like clearing a specific blockage in a really complex plumbing system so the natural flow can just do its job more effectively and more safely.
That's a great analogy. It really highlights the finesse involved.
It's a fundamental shift, really, in how we think about pharmacological pain management.
But finding something that acts so precisely, identifying that exact compound that can block just one of those receptors, that ADRIANA dimmer switch, without messing with the others, that sounds like a massive scientific hurdle.
Oh, it absolutely is. And that's where the meticulous research really shines. To find such a precise selective mechanism, the scientists basically had to invent a highly accurate detector. It's a specialized method, the TGF-5 shedding assay, for those interested in the technical details. But essentially, it allowed them to precisely measure the function of these different adrenoreceptor subtypes, which one was doing what.
Okay.
And then, through extensive compound screening, which means testing just countless potential candidates, they actually succeeded. They identified what they call the world's first selective ADRIANA adrenoceptor antagonist.
Antagonist meaning blocker, right?
Exactly. A substance that blocks or inhibits the effect of another. In this case, turning off that specific ADRIANA dimmer switch. And it's this rigorous scientific method, from that initial clever hypothesis to the very targeted discovery that underpins the potential of ADRIANA.
Wow. And this was all published.
Yes, this pivotal work appeared in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences back on August 7th, 2025. The paper's lead author was Masayasu Toyomoto. It's really a testament to highly focused, innovative science.
That's incredible. Going from such a specific idea to actually finding that molecular key. And the exciting news doesn't stop in the lab, does it? The research then moved into human trials. And this is where things get particularly promising for people waiting for better options. After they successfully tested the compound in mice, and importantly, conducted a whole battery of non-clinical safety studies, absolutely crucial before you go into humans. Physician-led clinical trials officially kicked off at Kyoto University Hospital.
Right, the essential next step.
And the outcomes from these initial human trials, they've been very encouraging. They did a phase I trial first, mostly focused on safety and dosage in healthy volunteers, that yielded highly promising results. Definitely. Building on that, they moved to phase 2, this time in actual patients. Specifically, individuals suffering from postoperative pain after lung cancer surgery. And this trial also delivered highly promising results.
Okay, that's significant.
Yeah, these early results are exactly what researchers hope for at these stages. They suggest both safety and, importantly, efficacy. It seems to work.
And what's particularly striking there, I think, is the specific patient group in phase 2. Post-operative pain, especially after something major and invasive like lung cancer surgery. I mean, that's often incredibly severe pain.
Right, not just minor aches.
No, definitely not. It can be debilitating. It often requires really potent painkillers. So for ADRIANA to show highly promising results in that specific high-need group, it suggests a robust efficacy, potentially for profound pain, not just mild discomfort.
Which is exactly where safer opioid alternatives are most desperately needed.
Precisely. So these initial outcomes really do pave the way. They open the door for much broader, more comprehensive evaluation in larger trials.
Absolutely. And that brings us nicely to the future impact, which really feels like it could be global. Building on these positive initial results, preparations are now underway for a large-scale phase 2 clinical trial right here in the United States.
Ah, interesting. Moving across the Pacific.
Yeah, and this is happening in collaboration with BTB Therapeutics, Inc., which is actually a venture company that originated from Kyoto University itself. So it shows this strong commitment to partnership and maybe fast-tracking this innovation.
That link between the university research and a dedicated company is often key to getting things moving.
For sure. And this collaboration isn't just about running more trials. It feels like a strategic move, bringing a potential solution right to the heart of the opioid crisis. The overarching potential here seems massive. As Japan's first non-opioid analgesic, ADRIANA has the power not only to, relieve severe pain for patients worldwide, but it could also play a truly meaningful role in finally addressing that U.S. opioid crisis we talked about earlier.
A huge potential contribution.
Yeah, a significant contribution to international public health efforts. It offers a real beacon of hope where, frankly, there's been so much despair for so long. Just think about the broader impact for a second. For healthcare systems, right? It could mean slashing the costs linked to treating opioid addiction, emergency overdose responses, long-term rehab.
The ripple effects are enormous.
And for individual patients, it's about a profound shift in maybe agency and peace of mind. Imagine no longer facing that agonizing choice. Debilitating pain versus the risk of dependence. Just receiving effective relief without that constant fear of addiction shadowing their recovery. That would be life-changing.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, what we might be witnessing here isn't just, the development of one new drug. It could signal a potential shift in medical philosophy itself. Moving away from such a heavy reliance on these powerful but, frankly, problematic compounds. For too long, really effective pain relief has come with these devastating trade-offs. Addiction, respiratory issues. If ADRIANA lives up to this early promise, it offers a path to powerful relief without those historical burdens.
Yeah.
It represents a fundamental reimagining of how we manage pain, one of humanity's most universal experiences, and how we can do that in a way that truly prioritizes the patient's well-being and their long-term health.
Professor Hagiwara, the corresponding author, he shares this really powerful vision for the future. He says, "We aim to evaluate the analgesic effects of ADRIANA across various types of pain, and ultimately make this treatment accessible to a broader population of patients suffering from chronic pain."
Chronic pain. That's the other huge area.
Exactly. That vision of reaching chronic pain sufferers is particularly poignant, isn't it? Imagine the daily lives of millions just fundamentally changed, freed from that constant dilemma, pain versus potential addiction.
People living with persistent discomfort for months, years.
Even decades. And for them, the current options are often just inadequate or they carry these really heavy risks. A non-opioid alternative for chronic pain. I mean, that would be nothing short of revolutionary, impacting everything from their ability to work, their mental health, their relationships. It's such a human story as much as it is a scientific one.
Absolutely. The potential quality of life improvement is immense.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? This deep dive into ADRIANA, I think it shows us a glimpse of a future where medical innovation isn't just incremental. It can be truly transformative. It can tackle some of our most entrenched health crises head on. And it offers real, tangible hope for those suffering from severe pain. A hope that doesn't carry that heavy, heavy burden of addiction. It's really a testament to what focused, ingenious scientific research can achieve when it, dares to rethink established pathways.
Yeah, and maybe this raises an important question for all of us to consider as we finish. What would it truly mean? For global public health, yes, but also just for individual lives. If that fear of addiction was largely removed from the equation of managing severe pain, especially chronic pain, how might that fundamentally change our whole approach to patient care? From doctor-patient conversations to healthcare policy, even to how we perceive living with persistent discomfort. If we could offer powerful pain relief without those historical trade-offs, how quickly would the medical community embrace that shift? And what new possibilities for sort of holistic patient well-being might emerge from that? It's a pretty profound thought, I think, that builds on the hope that something like ADRIANA represents.